We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Great Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Great lives on the rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome again to Great Lives on the Rise. And our wonderful guest this evening is Dr. Bonita Sr., who will join us in a few minutes. I just really want to give you some background information about Great Lives on the Rise. I am Professor Jamila Franklin. I'm the founder and the CEO for this movement. And it came about 2 years ago when I was just walking. I love walking. I was just walking. And then all of a sudden something came into my consciousness, a download. And it was coming from Spirit, the Most High. And it basically said, there's nothing out there that deals with your demographic for people who are 50 plus. And I thought about that and I said, yeah, that's true. It's of Medicare and AARP. Medicare is something that's definitely needed, especially for people who have different kinds of ailments and they need to see the doctor and get prescriptions. I don't have those kinds of concerns, but I think it's still very necessary. And then the other one is AARP. And when you hear AARP, people usually think of people who are sedentary, who are over the hill, or elderly, and just have checked out. That is not me, and that is not any of my friends. So I said, okay. And then the download said, look, you need to have a name for it. You need to have a store. You need to have a podcast. So I came up with the name Great Lives on the Rise. I thought about Great Lives Matter. I said, no, that's too cliche-ish. It's overused. And then I said, Great Lives on the Rise. I said, yeah, lives rhymes with rise, and we're on the upswing. We're not going down. And then I said, we need to relanguage how we see ourselves. We are not elderly. We're not old. We're not over the hill. We are seasoned, mature, vibrant, alive, and active. And then the next to last thing was a store to have merchandise that reinforces this idea. So what I did is I thought of having a store, and the store is Great Lives on the Rise. And you see, this is my t-shirt. We have mugs, we have mats, we have totes, you name it, we have it. We have hoodies, and it's just wonderful. And the last thing was a podcast. I said, okay, we need to have a forum where people who are 50 plus feel very comfortable in talking about issues that affect us. We're not concerned with the same issues as we were when we were 20, 30, or 40. So those things that are out there that speak to those demographics don't really speak to us. And in my talking to people around the world, everyone concurred. I thought it was just here in the US, how they gaslight you when you become 50. When you hit 50, all of a sudden you become an old relic. You become insignificant. But I've had guests on from Australia, from Canada, the Netherlands, New Zealand, the UAE, Costa Rica, the Philippines, Serbia, which is in Eastern Europe, Haiti, the UK, and of course, America. Everyone had the same concern. That's okay. Let's do this. So we've had people on from all these countries, and they have all felt so invigorated and so connected because they're talking to people who are in the similar demographic. And we have men and women. It's multiracial, it's multi-ethnic, and it's global. So, and I am Professor Jamila Franklin. I'm a certified aromatherapist, a certified Reiki master, a certified metaphysician, a college professor of psychology. I have my own clinical practice in terms of counseling and coaching. I've had it for over 30 years, and I've created my own modality called healing ancestral trauma, because a lot of people are traumatized because of ancestral energy that is latent within them, but it's really controlling them. So, having said all that, my company that is paying for this is Jamila Sense, and that's my aromatherapy company. So, get this straight. All of my products I created myself. They're all natural. You do not take them by mouth. You put them in your palms of your hands, and it gets in your body within 10 to 15 minutes. You see how transparent this is? Okay, Peace Be Still is the product that's doing today. It gets rid of stress, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity within children, sinus congestion, sinus headaches, migraine headaches. Put it in your hands, and then you breathe in. And then you put the rest here on your arms, and it just, stress just leaves naturally. Okay? Like I said, you don't take it by mouth. It gets in your bloodstream internally. So go to our website, Oyinde Enterprises, OYINDE Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com. When you go to the website, look at all the wonderful companies, and Great Lives on the Rise is my latest baby. You click on that, it gives you the complete overview of Great Lives on the Rise. And if you're interested in becoming a speaker, you can look at all of the prerequisites. Contact me, and then we can see what can happen. So now we've done all that. So we look forward to seeing you every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell all your friends and everyone else who is interested in having a very wonderful experience. Great Lives on the Rise with my wonderful guests. So tonight I'm bringing to you Dr. Bonita Senior Farmer. And she's an amazing person. Some teachers deliver information. Others, like Dr. Senior Farmer, change lives. Tonight, you are in the presence of a woman who does both and then goes deeper. Our speaker is a master teacher of human development, known for helping people unlearn toxic patterns and build thriving lives from the inside out. She doesn't speak from theory alone. She teaches from lived experience, decades in education, and the courage it takes to break generational cycles that no longer serve us. She believes healing is learned and toxicity is to be unlearned. That growth is teachable, and that thriving is not accidental, it is intentional. Through her work, people move from merely surviving, they start understanding themselves and finally give themselves permission to rise. Please prepare your heart, open your mind, and lean into this moment. Join me in welcoming Dr. Bonita J. Senior Farmer from Atlanta, Georgia. And she's a graduate from the prestigious CAU Center in Atlanta, Georgia, Morris Brown College, she has a BS in teaching. Clark Atlanta University, she received her MA in teacher leadership, her EDS and EDD in educational leadership, and she married Barry Farmer in 2024. She has two adult sons, Glamma of four glam children, and one great glam kid. Okay. She loves fashion, hairstyling, jewelry, shopping, makeup, reading, learning, and writing. Okay, without further ado, we welcome Dr. Senior Farmer. I'm just going to call it Dr. Bonita because that's easier for me to recall. So, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So you're a native of Atlanta, Georgia, correct?
Yes, I am. And first of all, I want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity to talk about my favorite subject, which is becoming your alternate best self at any age. Yes. And it gets better. Yes, I'm from Atlanta. I'm a native Atlantan, and that is pretty rare. When I run into people, they're like, "So you didn't just come here? I've been here for my family has been here for a couple of generations.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen Atlanta grow, and it is amazing."
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. So, and you've gone to two historic HBCUs, yes. Morris Brown and Clark Atlanta.
Yes.
Which is wonderful. Yes. So in terms of helping people become their best selves, how did you come into that passion, and what is what's the motivating factor that motivates you to help people, I know primarily women and some men, to evolve into becoming the best version of themselves?
Well, what a great question. I developed a lot of passion for this topic because I was born into a situation where I could not be my best self. And I have written my autobiography about it, which is entitled From Doom to Doctor, Born in the Crack but Didn't Fall Through. So I was born into generational toxicity, and I didn't have a name for it. I just knew things were hurtful, harmful. I knew you couldn't express your emotions. There was in family competition. It was rough. And from 0 to 18, I couldn't do anything about it. You know, I was in that family. But what I noticed was when I left that family at 18, I was recreating it. And I was like, it's time to do some introspection, to look in, because I'm not with that family and I'm still creating chaos and failing. So that became my passion for this movement. Growing up in a situation that I couldn't control, leaving it, and I still couldn't control it.
So what were some of the examples that reflected the toxicity after you left your family?
What are some of the behaviors that reflect the toxicity?
Yes.
My relationships, they did not turn out the way I wanted them to turn out. You know, I would date, and then that romantic relationship would end up with domestic violence. It would end up with narcissistic individuals who wanted to control me and would not allow me to be myself. And then I married that type of individual and ended up, oh my God, when I met him, you know, I had gotten my career together. I was a classroom teacher, had my credit together. But when I got with him, by the time that relationship ended, I was in bankruptcy, homeless, carless,
Wow.
furnitureless. I mean, I lost everything. And here I am, a cum laude graduate of Morris Brown College and somewhat teacher of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's not a congruent, it's not congruent.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the things that made me start realizing I need to look within, find a some more supportive community, and start working on Bonita.
Mm-hmm.
Because I took Bonita everywhere I went.
Exactly.
And she was not getting the results that she thought she should get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what happens too, because we think that the more educated we are in terms of the linear time frame, that translates or spills over to the emotional body, and it doesn't necessarily happen that way. In most cases, it doesn't, because you have one body that's far more developed intellectually, and then the emotional body has been left at the train tracks.
Yeah.
As that little girl, and she's screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more common than not. Yeah.
And my passion with that was I want to find out the root of this.
Mm-hmm.
And when I find out the root of this, I would like to show it to others because it was so painful. I was like, if I can just have one person not repeat my pattern, then I have accomplished my goal. And I had to go back and reparent little Bonita. I had to do the inner work to let this little girl know she has a parent now who's going to take care of her, who's going to be good to her, who's going to allow her to expand. And it worked. I was so surprised, that it worked. I decided that if I can just change one or two things, I would be excited. But this process worked. I love how this author puts it, and I'm such a bookie. This is one of our Hillside authors, and she talks about how you have to ask yourself, who am I? Why am I doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And mine came from, believe it or not, Professor Jamila, fear.
Yeah. But most things
Yeah,
originate from fear. Yeah.
I was afraid to be alone. So I was
Mm-hmm.
a serial relationship person. When one relationship ended, I had to start looking for the next one and make sure it was an overlap. Fear of being alone.
Mm-hmm.
But I got with a community that told me, write all that out, Bonita. Write it all out and then give it to God.
Mm-hmm.
Ask God to remove or help you release that toxicity. Because I learned this from my home. That's what I love about when you work on yourself. You don't have to feel like you're at fault or you're at blame. You learned it somewhere. And the people who taught you learned it somewhere. So blame is not a part of this. Fault finding isn't a part of this. Go do your work.
Right.
So I gave it to God, and believe it or not, it was removed. And I could be without a relationship 2 months, 2 years, 10 years, and just have a ball. That's the miracle of looking within and going to your creator. And it's kind of like the Catholics when they do those confessions. It's kind of like that. I had to confess it and say it out loud. Dear God, I have a fear of being alone. I'll do anything not to be alone. This person could, this man could be a jerk, but that's okay. I'm not alone. So I got real with God, and it's been removed, and I didn't have any more problems with it. And I do that continuously when I see a pattern, and this is what I teach to others in my company that I started, Joy University, Women and Men Thrive Center. I teach them to look at what's a repeating pattern that isn't working for you. If you keep seeing that pattern, it's not working for you. It's time to go deep.
Right.
It's time to dig it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, another thing that I got from being in that particular toxic situation, which was my first family, was people pleasing. It got me into all kinds of trouble. If you said you like vanilla ice cream, I would say, okay, I like vanilla ice cream, knowing I like chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
But my people pleasing behavior that I had learned as a way to cope in that family, I couldn't say it. I'd be sitting there eating vanilla ice cream, knowing I prefer chocolate. So and I heard Oprah say that true too. She was a world-class people pleaser, and she worked on it, and I'm not like that today. Today I can assert myself and say no. I prefer chocolate.
Right.
And I'm glad you like vanilla. But
right. But your preference is chocolate. And I think that also is really more prevalent with women.
Oh, absolutely.
Than men. And men have been categorized for the most part, not all, but a lot, as being narcissistic. It's all about them. And women have been categorized for the most part, not all, as being people pleasers. So a narcissist can smell a people pleaser. And that's what
they smelled me.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. They see it's like a sixth sense that they have, and they can sniff it out. And so then you have this unhealthy union, the people pleaser with the narcissist. And they're both trying to fill that empty hole with another person, and it never works.
Never works.
Yeah, you have to do your internal work.
Yes, you do. And once I got those results with doing the internal work, it became second nature for me. I just kept digging and digging. And when I had that destructive marriage that ended, it took me about, I would say, 6 or 7 years to get back on my feet. And when I got back on my feet, I was different. I could do things like raise my 2 sons as a single parent, not be in a relationship. That was a miracle right there. I went back to graduate school because that whole period, I had a Bachelor of Science. The whole time I went through all of that. And I remember I made one attempt to get my master's at Clark Atlanta University, and I wrote a paper before I healed myself. I wrote a paper, and the professor wrote across the paper, not graduate material. My work was not, and you know, being with low self-esteem and low self-worth, I took it as I am not graduate material. And I stayed away for 14 years. Until this wonderful lady at work who saw me, and I told her one day in the hallway, this is when my first career, which was teaching. I told her in the hallway, she was getting her master. I was like, I just can't do it. She looked at me like, are you crazy? You can do it and more. And something happened. I can't explain it, but I believed her. And so in a few weeks, I put in an application at West Georgia College, now it's West Georgia University. And believe it or not, I had my master's in 2 years after being afraid for 14 years. And I think that had a lot to do with going back. Who are you, Bonita? Why are you afraid to do this or that? You know, get on your knees and pray. Get with like-minded people who are accomplishing things
Mm-hmm.
And going back to that master's degree, I had tried 1, 2, 3. I tried 4 attempts and couldn't get it. That was another reason I didn't want to try it anymore. I was like, I just can't do it.
Yeah, four attempts at the same school.
Uh, One was Clark Atlanta University. 2 was at Georgia State University.
Mm.
So it was 3 attempts. 3 attempts. And I was like, I give up. And then this 4th time I went to West Georgia University, and I had gotten tutoring on writing and formulating paragraphs. And it didn't take me long. It was just that I missed that with all of the chaos in my home as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, they say it affects your brain. There's another book I really love by Oprah. It says that when you grow up in that kind of dysfunction, it affects your brain, what
Yeah.
happened to you.
Yeah.
And so I was fragmented when it comes to writing. But I got with a teacher friend, and God is so good, a teacher friend at work. She said, but then I'll show you how to put those paragraphs together. One tutoring, and I had it. One tutoring session. So I attribute it to healing myself and being willing to accept help and being willing to be honest. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
And from there, I got the master's I moved from West Georgia College to Clark Atlanta University. I went, and that's when I see God. Same university that I was told your work is not graduate material, is the same university I got my master's and my doctorate. How do you explain that? You explain it by doing the inner work, being open, being transparent. I didn't want to tell those people I didn't know how to put those paragraphs together. I could have stayed in shame, but I've learned you are as sick as your secrets.
Yeah.
So I reached out, but so that's the beauty of why I do what I do. I've lived it, so I know it can be done. I know the process, and if I can help anybody, it's just wonderful. I have helped women, get married. I've helped women move from being a single parent with a kid to getting a job. There's a process with it. And when we do the process, which is like for one lady, I told her to write down what she wanted and what we have to do to get it. Sometimes it is simple as putting it on paper. She was like, I said, well, the first thing you need to do is get a babysitter. The second thing you need to do is get a job. Then, you can't get a job? Okay. Then now you need to go get your driver's license so that you can get a car, so that you can get the job. So those are the things I love doing, just simplifying it for individuals who want to move forward, but there's a blockage.
Yeah. And you're giving them practical steps. You're not telling them something that's so far-fetched that it seems unattainable. That's what you're telling them, we're very practical.
Very.
Get a job, get a babysitter, and then, get a car, because in Atlanta, it becomes very problematic if you don't have a car. Everything is so spread out. It's not even a luxury. It's like a necessity. So and when people are overwhelmed, they can't think clearly. So the things that would normally come to them, like you said, there's a block because of fear of failure, because it has so many failures in the past. Fear, and sometimes fear of success. So if I become too successful, will I outgrow my partner? Will I outgrow my husband? Will I outgrow my wife? And people stay sometimes stagnant in relationships that are not evolving because they're afraid to be alone. And I think
Yes.
that's really important. So the typical client that you would see, Dr. Bonita, is who?
The typical client is basically at this point, I help anyone. I
Mm-hmm.
have women who are 22. I have some women who are 50 who are married and they're having, challenges with becoming their best self.
Mm-hmm.
Something is blocking them, and we work through it with, like I said, the process that I use. And one of the things I tell them is you got to name it. So
Yeah.
I work with all spectrums. I've had some men to show interest, but I can't seem to get them to follow through. And I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that would be so wonderful if you just did. But it's
Mm-hmm.
mainly women that come and they want to become better at what they want. They know what they want. They want to become better at it. So I have
Mm-hmm.
people with the four tires of life, four tires like the car, which is relationships, finances, health, and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And we sit down and we come up with a plan. But first, I listen to them for a couple of visits to get a feel of what's holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them a lot of times you got to think of it like a coach for sports. A coach wants you to be your best.
Yeah.
And we can't do it alone. Kind of goes back to that scripture, when two or more are gathered and
Mm-hmm.
you pray something, there's something spiritual about adding another person to your personal growth
Mm-hmm.
desires. And I know it is for me because I would procrastinate, make excuses. But if I have accountability buddy,
Yeah.
and I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z, then I did. Then I feel more obligated to do it.
Yeah.
So my customer, I've had some as young as 22. The lady that was having trouble finding the right guy, we worked together, and she was able to find the right guy, get married, and have twins.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my God, this thing works. But she and like others had to be willing to identify. That's the very first step.
Yeah.
Naming it. If you don't name it, it's still not real to your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those are the kind of people I work with. And over the years, I have continued to do this kind of work. And for me, I had to realize I keep growing as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have clients grow, but Bonita is a lifelong learner.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that I wanted to retire from my first career.
Mm.
And I had to do the work, which is get those finances together. I'm teaching my clients about finances, romance, uh, health, spirituality. I
Mm-hmm.
I go right along with them and do the same thing. And I was able to retire from that first career at 58
Mm.
with a pension. And that's something that took using the strategies of stay focused on yourself, stay focused on your goals, and you don't look left or right.
Right.
In
Right.
between, you do your celebrating. I do uh, encourage celebrating along the way because it seems the big picture just seems too hard. But
Mm-hmm.
you can celebrate along the way. Even
Mm.
like the lady that had the trouble with finding a job. Well, celebrate that you found a nursery that you can take your kid to. So don't wait till you, it just, you miss out on life to me like that. So yeah, I do the same thing. So at 58, I retired and I started what you see right now, which is Joy University Women and Men Thrive Center. Um, and it is a result of that, just focusing on making sure I am taking care of myself and others. Yes, yes.
Yeah, self-care is critical. I think sometimes we tend to overlook it. We think that by getting your nails done or your hair done or that something like that is self-care, and it's not. That's like personal hygiene. So self-care
Yes.
is resting when you feel tired, taking yourself out on a date just with you
Yeah.
and yourself, doing the things that bring you joy and minimizing stress. That's
Yeah.
self-care. The other
Yeah.
things to me are topical and cosmetic.
You're
But
so right. I
yeah,
agree with that so much, and that has helped me to know the difference between self-care and top tier self-care. I call it
yeah,
that. Top tier self-care is when you go and you do things that bring you joy. And one of the things I share a lot with my clients and others and in my speaking engagements is um, be in tune with your body.
mm-hmm,
Listen to your body. What does it tell you?
mm-hmm,
I remember when I retired in 2014. Yeah, I my body, I moved, I downsized. And so I did this big move. And I was in the house unpacking the boxes and just trying to get everything together. And my eyes started twitching.
mm-hmm,
Just a twitching. So I called a friend. I said, "What is that about?" She said, "You're doing too much."
mm-hmm,
She just made it, I'm 58. I just retired. Here I am trying to unload every box in the house.
mm-hmm,
So that was so powerful to me because it says we have to listen to our body.
all the time.
Yes, when it sends a signal. So from then on, instead of trying to do an 8-hour job, I cut it in half to 4.
Mm-hmm,
So I do 4 straight and then I take a break.
mm-hmm.
And that has helped me with longevity. A lot of my friends say, Bonita, you got so much energy. Well, it's probably because I do breaks now. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna try to do 8 hours.
yeah,
I'll do 4 and then I'm gonna go somewhere and rest, read a
yeah,
book, watch a
yeah,
Netflix movie, organize. That relaxes me. So those types of things have helped me and it helps my clients.
yeah,
It's just amazing how we miss these little things that can make our life so much better.
yeah. But what happens is the old saying is completely false. Mind
Yes.
over matter. We used to say,
Yeah.
okay, we'll just push, 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 even though the body is saying it's tired. People would do that in terms of exercising, in terms of working. And now we're seeing that that throws your nervous system off. You're
Yes,
not
it
giving
does.
yourself a reprieve. You're not giving yourself a chance to reset. Like you said,
Yes.
you do 4 hours and then you go read a book. You do 4 hours, you watch a Netflix movie. You do 4 hours and you may take a nap. But to
Yeah.
do 8 hours straight, and the unfortunate thing that's out there now is with some of the top coaches who tell people, and men have bought into it a lot more than women, you don't need that much sleep. You only need 4 hours worth of sleep, if that. You have to grind, 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 and tell people no. Once you elevate and get your energy in alignment with spirit, it comes to you. You don't have to
Yes,
go
it
out
does.
there and hustle.
You do
You,
not.
you do not have to go out there and hustle. So your clients have an absolute gem in you in terms of you're helping them reset
Yes.
their thinking, reset and reevaluate their lives and see what is important to them. Like you said, in taking care, they're doing shadow work basically, and taking care
Yeah.
of the little person within them. So
Hmm.
I don't, we're not about to run out of time, but before that happens, Dr. Bonita, give us your contact information.
Okay, well, my business number is 470. That's the best way to get me. 470-661-8081. And also my business email. It is info@Joy University, and I'll spell that out, JOYUOYOU. I use, instead of a U, I use the word U, University. So it's Joy University. Again, JOYOUNIVERSIT. Dash.
SITY or just SIT?
Let's see. SITY. Thank you.
Mm.
Then it's a dash, women dash and men dash thrive dot center. And I am working on shortening that. I think I'm gonna take out the women and men, but at this point, that's what it is. Yes. And then I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You can just look for Dr. Bonita J, Senior Farmer.
Can you spell that for them?
Sure. DR and then B.
So no period after DR?
No period.
Okay.
So it's Dr. Bonita, DRBONITA J, period. Then it's senior, SENIOR dash farmer, FARMER. And that's how you can get me on Facebook. And of course, my website is very similar to the email. It's Joy University, JOYUNIVERSITY dash women dash and dash men dash thrive center. Or you can just Google me. I'll pop up because I have been doing this since 2018. I retired for one career and started the second career in 2018. So I've done, I've had my own streaming show on Black House Media Network. I've done interviews on Atlanta Live. I've done streaming radio. I talk a whole lot about this healing that inside person and telling people what I used to be like and what I'm like now. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to get me. And I do love your platform on Great Lives, Rise. Oh, when I heard that, I found a tribe member.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
That's how I feel. I've never listened to people who have told me, oh, well, you're 58 now. Go sit in a rocking chair. This is what some people thought when I retired. That's what you do. And like I said, I got married, at 68? You see what I'm saying? That is not what you do, go somewhere and sit down. You continue to live your life. Join Zeta Phi Beta, 69. You continue to live your life vibrantly, actively, and the stigma that wants to dismiss us needs to be addressed. And this is what your platform does. I was like, yay. Oh, I got to do a little bell on that one. Yay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think, and your services are so valuable and so needed. So do you work with couples?
I have not worked with any couples. For some reason, I seem to get women. They will follow through. Now, I'll get some that go to my website, and they set up an appointment, but getting them to that first session, I'm going to say I'm going to claim it in the future.
Yeah.
But I don't mind working with couples because this thing works for any individual. God is no respecter of persons.
Right.
If we bring our brokenness to him, he glues it back together like Humpty Dumpty.
It's true. And it's even better than before because all of the past pathology, even though it still may be there, you're not relating to it emotionally. So you can look at your history, at the things that have transpired in the past. I tell people, if you know your history, then you won't repeat it. I don't believe like people say, oh, wipe the slate clean and all of that. I said, no. African Americans are the only people that have been told that. People who are Japanese, people who are Jewish, people who are all different ethnic groups celebrate their history. And we've been told, just wipe it clean. I said, no, I don't believe that. Don't do that because you can learn from the things that have transpired in the past. So by having that information, then you can help them, and you do help them chart a different path, a new path. Because if you look back at what didn't work, because if you erase all of that, then you have to repeat it because you have no point of reference. But when you look at the past and say, okay, this part was helpful, this part wasn't, and I need you, Dr. Bonita, to help me get on a path of alignment, to get on the path of alignment where I don't repeat the patterns. And it's not because I'm being told to forget the history. No, I can learn what worked and what didn't work. So
absolutely,
your guidance and your business, I like that. University spelled with Y-O-U. I really like that.
Yes, because it's about you.
Yeah, it is.
And that, how you was talking in the beginning, things are downloaded. You just came to me and it was YOU, Joy University, because it is about you, it's about me, it's about the individual making those changes, and they're small, positive changes. If you consistently make small, positive changes, before you know it, you have achieved your goal. Getting that doctor was not easy. But it was step by step by step.
Yeah, you have two.
Say what now?
You have two doctorates.
No, I have one.
Oh, you have one? Okay.
Yes, I have the master's, the doctorate, and the bachelor's of science.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought so too. So, and your demographic is basically women, and what's the age range?
Age range, 22, I would say, to, well, when I think about it, when I did my ageless dating seminar, I said 22 to 92. I just gave it a full range because that's something I do too. I give seminars on topics that are very important to me. And I think I've shared with you, I did the ageless dating seminar at Hillside International Truth Center.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Talk a little bit about that before we leave.
Yes, well,
ageless dating. I like that.
I felt like people feel like at a certain point we're supposed to stop dating. Like we like our senses go off into some planet. And I was like, there's a gap. And I seem to love to fill in gaps. There's a gap there. So I went to Hillside International Truth Center, which is my church, mentioned it, and it was approved. And we had it after a Sunday service. And I was asked to come back to do it again, but my schedule didn't let me do it again. But it was basically about merging uh, offline dating with online dating. You know, we do both because I have a lot of people in my age bracket. I don't want to do online dating. Okay, I understand that. How about merging it? You do online and offline. You know, you do offline by taking a walk in the park. You may meet someone that way, but you can also do online, which is how I met my husband. I met my husband on Silver Singles online, and we are very compatible. I know spirituality is a part of that union, but suppose I just stuck with offline dating.
Yeah.
Another thing I had them to do was make a chart. Don't go out there without a criteria. You need to know what you're looking for. So you had 5 subjects at the bottom, 5 at the bottom, like spirituality. What kind of spirituality do you want in this person? You write it out. Finances. How do you want their finances to look? So we went through all of those categories. And when you're dating, you stick with that. You don't go by, oh, love at first sight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to fall flat on your face. You need both chemistry plus compatibility. So I stayed on that a lot because this is where I see a lot of mistakes. They just go by that feeling. Well, it's wonderful to have it. I'm not kidding, but they also need to have some of that what you had on that chart. Like if you want them to have a master's or a bachelor's, you need to look at that. And sometimes you can let that go, and sometimes you don't. And then I summed it up for them. If that was too much to think about when you begin dating, just remember there are 3 things you need to know when you're looking for your soulmate. You need to have similar goals, similar interests, and similar values. Now, if you get those 3 things, you can kind of work with everything else. But you can't just go off this little warm fuzzy feeling. It misleads you. And if you study the literature, it really tells you that is just a reminder of the love you had for your parents. So you have to go beyond that. And now, if you had a functional parents, it might work for you. But look at me. My parents love them to death. We're not functional. But my feelings would go for someone just like them. And so, of course, that person wasn't functional. And don't get me wrong, they gave me a lot. They told me to get an education. They were strict on that. They told me religion is good, work hard. So in those families, even though there's that toxicity, and it's generational, I don't blame them. There's some good that they give us as well. So the workshop was a big hit. And like I say, I am asked again just recently to try to get it back on the schedule at Hillside.
Well, I think
as some of the members.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think everything, because we're wrapping this up now, I think that everything that you have expressed and that you do and continue to do is how we started out off in the beginning, assisting people and evolving and knowing how to allow their best selves, which is already dormant within them, surface. So what you're doing is tapping that inner reservoir by having people, like you so expertly said, look at themselves and own the parts of themselves that need additional support and healing. And in doing that, they can have the credit that they desire, the house that they desire, anything that they desire, the mate that they desire, the marriage, the relationship. But first you have to do, like you have said so expertly, Dr. Bonita, people have to do their inner work because by not confronting that inner child and doing that work, you're going to continue to repeat patterns. And they are not going to give you the results that you desire. And you will always be blaming people outside of you as to the reason why you're not successful or happy. But it's all up to us. I thank you so very, very much. What would you like to leave the audience with?
I would like to leave the audience with learn who you are. Study you like you would a textbook or anything else. And if you can get to know who you are, everything else aligns. And I have seen that in my life. Once I got to know who Bonita was, I didn't have to work hard for anything else. It flowed. It chased me and found me. So
I love that.
That's what I would like to leave. Get to know you, and you are okay.
Yes, we are. We're made in the image of the Most High. We just have to remember that.
Remember
We just have to remember that and stay in alignment with it. Dr. Bonita, thank you so much. And
My
women,
pleasure.
did you hear what this beautiful being, inside and outside, beautiful, she's gorgeous, but she said she remarried at the age of
68.
68. Okay. So for all of those people out there, particularly the so-called male love coaches, one transition, rest his soul, Samuel something, and a lot of women were listening to that craziness. He was just as off the wall as his stuff is so off the wall. And he told women that if you're over 40, you forget it. And people believe all of that stuff when in fact it is not true. I know of people who got married in their late 70s and 80s. So all you have to do is do your inner work and trust and ask. Like Dr. Bonita said, you come up with your criteria and stick to it. Don't let those fuzzy feelings take you off track. So thank you so much, Dr. Bonita.
So welcome. And thank you for this wonderful platform. Great Lives on the Rise.
You are so welcome. So women and men, get in touch with Dr. Bonita to do the inner work, and especially if you would like someone who's non-judgmental, who can help you get to the next level. She is the person. Get in touch with her soon. Beloveds, thank you so much. Remember, this is Great Lives on the Rise. I'm your host and CEO, Professor Jamila Franklin, and join us every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. And if you miss us, the replay is at 8:30 p.m. every Sunday. So tell others and know that I love you and have a great, great rest of your week. Namaste, beloveds.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Great Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Great Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.